We're ready? Okay, good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. It's the regular meeting of the Osoyoos Town Council, Monday, November the 2nd, 2015, at 2 o'clock in Council Chambers. And welcome to everyone. First off, we'd like to do the adoption of the minutes, the Committee of the Whole meeting minutes of October the 19th, and the regular open meeting minutes of October the 19th, and those would both be adopted by consensus. And business arising from the minutes, we have four actually, resolutions which I'm going to read. The first one is a resolution from October the 26th, 2015, special closed meeting, and a motion IC 14715, moved by Councillor Rhodes and seconded by Councillor King, and resolved that Council approves awarding of the fire hall contract to Greyback Construction, subject to an amendment to the bidded contract price that reflects the removal of the following items from the list of potential items to reduce costs, prepared by KMBR and dated as revised 10/23/2015. I won't read the items because they don't mean anything, I don't think, to anybody, but there are several items, and that was carried. Motion IC 148-15, moved by Councillor Youngberg and seconded by Councillor Rhodes, and resolved that CAO Report be authorized to negotiate the removal of identified deferred items 22A, 22C, 28, and 34 from the list of potential items to reduce costs in order to maintain the integrity of the budgeted amount, and that was carried. And motion IC 149-15, moved by Councillor Campol and seconded by Councillor Rhodes, and resolved that Council approves that Greyback Construction be provided a letter of intent to award the contract for the construction of the fire hall, subject to scope and price adjustments as per motion 147-15. So we're bringing that out of in camera today. Those were concluded last week, all those motions, and we are very pleased to say that we are ready to go. We've got all the kinks worked out and budget items decided on, and we're very happy. All of the people involved, the fire department, town hall, the Osoyoos Indian Band, the Osoyoos Fire Protection District, Rural Fire Protection District, we're all very happy that this project, after the better part of 10 years, is going to be finally off and running, and we expect to see the opening of the new fire hall, a true community asset, in about 12 months. I believe it should be next fall of 2016. So we are extremely happy to announce that today. The last resolution came from the in-camera meeting held this morning, and it's motion 156-15, moved by Councillor Campol and seconded by Councillor King, and resolved that the town enters into a contract for insurance services with Capri Insurance, Frank Cowan Company, for a 5-year term with the possibility of a 5-year renewal clause, with the 2016 premium being $55,888 for property and general coverage, as well as marina liability coverage in the amount of $5 million. And that the town continues to obtain airport liability insurance from AON at the expiration of the current policy on May the 30th, 2016, and that the policy limit be increased to $10 million. And that was passed this morning, and that is carried. So we do not have any late items today, and we have no delegations, and we have no water matters. We're going to have to come up with some other projects here. And no correspondence and no bylaws. So we're down to business, and the first item of business is the council expense reports for Councillors King and Councillor Campol. Could I have a resolution, please, to accept these? Thank you. Oh, we'll have to have you. Okay. That would be Councillor Rhodes and Councillor Youngberg. All in favor? These are, they're up on the screen. These are Mayor and Council reports, meeting reports. Councillor Campol went to a meeting in Vancouver last week, and Councillor King is submitting expenses for UBCM. So, all in favor? Thank you, that's carried. Cash requirements. No, we'll go on to water metering first. Skip it. And that would be Mr. Romanko.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. The 2015 approved budget projects included the development of a water conservation and metering assessment. The broad objectives of the study included below. The broad objective is that the consultant will identify all the challenges associated with proceeding with a universal metering program and prepare an implementation plan that would address all of the identified challenges. The project cost was budgeted at $30,000, with $10,000 being covered by a grant from the Okanagan Basin Water Board. The study was not directed at agricultural water use. The attached report is the final product, and I'm happy to report that all the terms and conditions of the request for proposal have been completed. Highlights of the report include 1. The BC Living Water Smart Initiative targets a 33% efficiency by the year 2020. Based on water use figures from the year 2010 to the current time, Vesuvius has achieved approximate decrease in water use of 12% based on a per-connection assessment. This consumption decrease illustrates that we have achieved approximately 70% of the BC Living Water Smart Initiative targets. 2. High use of water can be attributed to summer watering of landscapes in single-family homes. 3. Water conservation strategies have varying degrees of returns, but the list includes A. Landscape subsidies, B. Fixture retrofits, C. Water restrictions, D. Education and public awareness, E. Water accounting and loss control, F. Water audits, and G. Water metering. 4. Installation of water meters has a typical reduction of 15 to 30%, with the results in the Okanagan averaging about 20%. 5. Water metering carries a cost of approximately $1.9 million, plus operational and maintenance cost, pricing challenges, and significant implementation challenges. 6. Phasing of water meter installation, consumption-based pricing, and establishing consumer use benchmarking assists in consumer acceptance of water meters. 7. Consistent education programs are needed to successfully implement water conservation. And number 8, implementation of water metering project requires a complex engagement and communication plan to be implemented. Administration can use the content of this strategy to present Council with options for consideration in the annual budgeting process to achieve the BC Water Smart Initiative targets. Administration is requesting Council pass a motion to accept this water conservation and metering strategy assessment as a key strategic planning document to action budgeting requisitions to achieve the BC Water Smart Initiative targets. In terms of implications, community, current practices have not yet enabled the community to achieve BC Water Smart Initiative targets. The community will have to make target investments over the next 1 to 5 years to achieve the water conservation targets. Organizationally, implementation of an intensive water conservation program to achieve the BC Water Smart Initiative targets will be a significant challenge within the resources of the current staffing levels. No staff functions are identified to carry out the initiatives needed to undertake the projects identified in the report. C, in terms of budget impacts may include use of water reserves to implement water metering program, and hire staff needed to facilitate these projects. A second being boring to enable water meter installation. Significant dates. 2020 is the date identified for the BC Living Water Smart Initiative targets to be achieved. Second being annual budgeting will have to support program implementation. Sustainability. Decreased water use is a target for overall environmental sustainability. Three options are being presented to Council today. The first one being Council passes a motion to accept this water conservation and metering strategy assessment as a key strategic planning document to action budgeting requisitions to achieve the BC Water Smart Initiative targets. 2, Council passes a motion to accept as information and provides no direction to action or recommendations into budget requisitions. And 3, Council rejects the report as valid information to be used by the administration and Council in future water conservation actions. The administration recommends option number 1. The report has valid data and recommendations that sets the basis for the objectives that must be achieved, methods to use to achieve the objectives, and identified barriers to implement water conservation methods.
Thank you very much. And we did receive a report from Urban Systems, and I think one of the best things that I read about this was that we are 70% on the way of achieving the BC Living Water Smart Initiative targets, which is targeted for 2020. So I think that's a good thing. Obviously, we need to continue on with public awareness, looking at water metering or water reduction in the summertime, because what was pointed out was the largest contributor to high water consumption is the summer season lawn irrigation. So that's obviously one of the areas that we need to target, and a very likely universal metering will be the long-range result, but we're kind of working on it, and this report has lots of good ideas for us to use. So I think it's well worth it. So would anybody like to speak to that? Anybody like to make a motion? Councillor Youngberg. Option 1.
Option 1.
Yep. That we use the
Here.
oh, okay, to accept the water conservation and metering strategy assessment as a key strategic planning document to action budgeting requisitions in to achieve the BC Water Smart Initiative targets.
Okay.
Good. Thank you. Are you seconding that? Good. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to that? All right. Yes, Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mayor McCordock. Just one quick comment. This report is actually a good read, and it could be the beginning of the education process that we all need to go through over the next months and years. It is available on our website. You can look it up and go through the read. You don't necessarily need a hard copy of it. I would really encourage anybody that has any interest in this to read through this document as a good starting point for the way we're moving in the future.
Thank you very much. Good point. And pages, the very beginning of it has an executive summary, 3-page executive summary, which is quite readable. Okay. Did we vote on that? Could we vote on that motion then? All in favor, please. Thank you. That's carried. We're now down to any notice of motion? No. Reports. The cash requirements, general accounts. The background is to report on expenditures from accounts payable for council approval and payroll information for council to receive. So general cash requirements for the period up to November the 2nd, 2015 were $356,128.96, and Sunbowl cash requirements $5,256.53, and those will be adopted by consensus. And net payroll accounts of $79,121.79, and that is received for information. So we'll go down to committee reports. Nobody has a committee report. Okay, so we have Mr. Romanko. You have a CAO report.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. Just a few of the things the administration has been involved in over the last couple of weeks, starting with community services. The Halloween Hollow was very successful. There were lineups to see the haunted house, and the little children were very happy with the carnival-like atmosphere in the gym. Our thanks to the graduating class from the Soyuz Senior Secondary and the annual grant from the Elk Society. The shade structures for both the splash park and the dog park will get started this week. Staff is working on a community energy leadership program grant to offset the costs associated with the some climate controls at the Sonora Center. Director Davis was named as a zone representative for the Recreation Facilities Association of BC, and staff will be bringing forward a new terms of reference for Council's consideration to replace the Osoyoos District Recreation Commission bylaw. And on the WorkSafe front, a new policy is being developed for incident reporting that is part of the legislation with WorkSafe BC. In terms of corporate services, some of our admin staff attended a VADM software conference, which is excellent. We brought back some good ideas to implement. And also our corporate services admin staff will be attending a local government customer service webinar. So we prepared for and attended the emergency tabletop exercise, which was held on Friday the 23rd. Good information was obtained during the session. Follow-up meetings will include meetings with the U.S. and Canadian border authorities. The director attended the Emergency Management BC Fall Preparation Workshop in Kelowna. Information was obtained in the area of disaster financial assistance, BC Transit role in emergencies, and winter forecast from Environment Canada. Our new webcasting encoder will be arriving soon, so it should be ready for the November 2nd workshop. In terms of planning and development, just a note that our Planning and Trails open house is tomorrow at 7 o'clock at the Sonora Center, and the public will have an opportunity to view some suggested trail implementation projects and also make further recommendations on the suggestions. In terms of public works, the Station 8 electrical upgrade project is underway, including the power has been disconnected. The temporary power will be installed on October 30th, and we hope to have that completed very, very shortly. 74th Avenue reconstruction project from 85th to 89th. Pavement and sidewalks have been removed. Just as a note, the road millings were installed on the roadway to the dog park to try and cut down on the dust. Also on vacant lots at 51 Cactus Crescent and the roadways to station number 8. All underground water services have been installed, and we're just looking next to the new storm sewer being installed, drainage systems, and we don't feel that we'll be moving on to the next blocks this fall. That'll probably be a spring project that'll be underway. In terms of wastewater storage pond capacity, a comparison of the wastewater storage capacity between September 2015 and 14 indicates additional capacity of over 32,000 cubes of storage is currently available. It is therefore extremely unlikely that the infiltration field recently constructed by the town will be used now or in the immediate future. Also, we've been winterizing with all our irrigation, and that's all been shut down. In terms of myself, I've been working on trying to work on some of the finer points of the fire hall tender, attended the tabletop exercise, continued to work on the resort municipality strategic plan with a draft being sent to the province, and business plan involvements, and also a final review of the water metering strategy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we need to have a resolution, please, to receive that report. Councillor Campol, Councillor King, all in favor? Thank you. On to councillors' reports. Councillor Rhodes, you're first.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. Just a couple of quick things. First off, welcome to Brianne, who is sitting across the room over here. And as we transition from one person to another, I'd like to take this opportunity to tell Lori how great a job she did, and the level of comfort that she's offered here has been very, very well received, and on my part anyway. And Brianne, everybody knows about your work ethic, and we're all looking forward to you filling those shoes over there very soon. In addition to that, I'd like to remind everybody about the holiday that's coming up on November 11th. And we all kind of gather and do different things on that particular day, but I'd really like to encourage everybody to attend the service that we have at the Sonora Center at 10:30 in the morning. If you've never been able to attend, it's a worthwhile thing coming down there, and you would not believe how this community comes together on this particular day to show our respect for the people that have served in our armed forces over the years. And yeah, so November 11th, 10:30 in the morning. It's just a great thing to participate in, and everybody, you will be shocked at the volume of people that show up for this event. So that's would be my report.
Thank you very much. And I also think that the Remembrance Day ceremony, they're standing room only sometimes. It's filled, so people are really conscious of attending and paying their respects. I'm surprised that Councillor Rhodes didn't mention the fact that at the last election, there were 73, I think it was 73+% of voters voted on at this election. And as I recall, and you probably all do too, at our last council meeting, he mentioned that he wanted everybody to come out and vote because the voting was so low. So they were obviously listening to you, Councillor Rhodes, and they made an effort, and we were, I think, the highest in the Okanagan. Am I correct?
That's just my modesty kicking in.
Thank you. Okay, Councillor Campol.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. This was a very short meeting. I feel like I want to drag it out a bit. Keith has barely had time for his nap. But I only have a few things. So again, very proud and kudos to our community and stakeholders for the trick or treat on Main the other day. Tons and tons. I'm guessing every kid under 15 that lives in a Soyuz was out, and the amount of storefronts that took part was incredibly impressive. So a great job. I attended the Airport Society, the Airport Development Society's AGM, where they gave the public a bit of an update on to how they got where they are now, what the process looks like moving forward, and their goals and stages in which that would happen. As a steering committee for that society, we'll be meeting again this Thursday to discuss next steps. Some exciting news is that Area 27 has finally signed a lease with the province and with the Soyuz Indian Band to break ground on the new racetrack, and there'll be a groundbreaking that will take place over the next 2 weeks. More information to follow. And lastly, attended the Coyotes game last night. Coyotes are on a tear. A pretty impressive situation last night where they actually scored a goal with when the other team had a two-man advantage. So says a lot about this team. So I encourage everybody to get out and support them. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor King.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Last week attended a Parks and Recs little workshop around different initiatives or different ideas we could do to improve our town. So I really encourage you to go out tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at Sonora Center if you have a passion towards parks and trails on new ideas on how we can improve them. Also, again, like to thank the downtown businesses for being involved in the Halloween trick-or-treaters. It seems to be getting bigger and better with a lot of kids attending. And just a little kudos to Harvest Diversity as this Saturday, it's the first one in our community where you're going to find 5 ethnic groups coming together with food and entertainment. So again, I'd encourage you to buy a ticket. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's at the Sonora Center on Saturday night, November the 7th. There are tickets available, I think, from, do you have them? Or
Office Pro.
Office Pro has them. Good. Councillor Youngberg. Councillor Youngberg and I both have colds, so we're chewing Fisherman's Friends.
What was that?
They're moving away.
Oh, yes, I know, yeah. Anyways, my apologies for all the interruptions with the cough, but we'll be better soon. Anyways, over the last couple of weeks, I've been to the library meeting on Wednesday, and we've got some real strong suggestions for our library of different functions that they will be bringing forward for our librarian to follow. And some great suggestions where they're including some of the retirees that snowbird here. They've got a bit of a snowbird plan, which I think will be great. Anyways, just to wind up before I start coughing again, I just am thankful to the Osoyoos Credit Union for sponsoring the Trick and Treat program that they put together on Saturday for Halloween Day. It was very successful. The kids love it. And for all you gals out there, I hope we see you at the fashion show on November the 7th, which is Saturday, for support of the Seroptimist. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And for my report, I'd just like to reiterate what a couple of people have said, that Trick or Treat Main Street was extremely successful. It's the second year. And I know that I've talked to a couple of businesses who bought treats for thinking they might have 200, and they had to go out and get more. One reported 260 people in her business on that day. So it was a great day. It was, and you couldn't find a parking place downtown because everybody was down there. So well done. I'd also like to thank the Sonora Center and all the people over there. I know Kelly Law was busy setting up the, down in the basement, the dungeon. I didn't go through. I stayed at home that night. I didn't go out to it because I had this cold and cough. But I'd just like to thank all the people at the Sonora, as well as all the volunteers, for putting on Halloween Howl and having so many people take part in that. Business walks. We completed, I believe we completed all of the businesses last week. With business walks, several groups were out visiting businesses, asking questions. And I think that if you didn't get contacted, you could certainly contact Destination Osoyoos and ask them. They would probably be happy to send somebody around to visit your business. I also attended the tabletop exercise for emergency social services on the 23rd, and it was quite interesting to look at all of the people that were necessary to contact if there was something that happened in town, for instance, an oil spill or gas leak or something like that. It was really a most interesting exercise, and there were lots of professional people there that gave their 2 bits worth. So I think we're a little better prepared. Last week I was over in Karamias at a Developing Sustainable Rural Practice Communities, the Joint Standing Committee on Healthcare. And what they're looking at, trying to get people from each community to be involved in finding ways to make the healthcare in each community a little bit more sustainable, and finding ways to have health practitioners when there aren't enough doctors, to have community groups to coordinate things. And I think it's very important to work together, share ideas, and so I will continue to go to those. And I think we're better off in the South Okanagan and Oliver Osoyoos than some of the other areas in the regional district. But I think it's good to know what's going on and what's needed, and it's certainly something that has been talked about in Osoyoos, about making sure that we have good health care for not only our residents but our visitors and our snowbirds and so on that are here. And of course, today, I mean, we're so excited about the fire hall, aren't we? So this is a really positive day that we're going to get this fire hall off the ground and get it started. So kudos to everybody for working so well together to get this started. I think that's all that we've got today, and so we will have a resolution, please, to adjourn the meeting. Thank you. Councillor Campol, Councillor Youngberg, all in favor. Thank you, everyone, and have a good afternoon. It's nice and sunny out.